What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the NarikChase channel. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video we are continuing on our series episodic review of the Netflix live action Resident Evil series. Now this is going to be episode 7. If you hadn't seen the previous episodes, go ahead and check out the playlist wherever I want to put it, if I remember to put it on here. But yes, I've already reviewed 6 episodes. I'm recording the 7th episode today, and I'm going to finish the series off with the 8th episode tomorrow, which I've already watched it. I already got the notes, so just don't have time to record it. But we're going to record episode 7 today. Now, before we get started, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on. And we'll definitely show you guys that this here is an awesome channel. Trying to work on a bit more consistency, but who knows? Yeah, I didn't see that one coming. I had to sneak that phone out. But without further ado, we're going to continue on with Resident Evil, Episode 7, Parasite. So, the episode picks up in 2005, I believe, in Arklay Mountains. Arklay Mountains are just out within the forest outside of the. Um, that's where they had the mansion, where the mansion stuff, all that shit basically happened. For which, no, that doesn't really make sense. Arklay Mountains. No, maybe I'm getting my timelines mixed up. I could have sworn that the Arklay Mountains was where the original mansion took place, but that got blown up in the 90s, the late 90s. So maybe I'm getting my timelines mixed up. But the Arklay Mountains, I don't know. But anyways, we're in the laboratory. We see Wesker, and then we see 3 Weskers. And you're like, okay, yeah, Weskers are a bunch of clones. Now, within the actual series, the Weskers, I don't want to say they were clones, but I do know they were part of a program. Well, I guess they are somewhat clones. Wesker clone, Alex Wesker is a clone, I think. It's something like this. It's a bunch of them, but they were a part of this experiment, I guess, to make smarter people or something like that. I get the lore mixed up on that a little bit more. I need to go back and reread it, but he was a part. Wesker was actually a part of that program. But within the context of the show, the actual Wesker that we see from that's actually supposed to be Alex Wesker up in this moment that we get of him for like maybe 3 minutes, and it's the original Wesker, the Wesker that, not the Wesker that you see originally. I don't know, the fucking original games, or you get this design of the character is the iteration from Resident Evil 5, where he's got the black suit, he's got the black jacket on, and he comes in looking like fucking Blade. I've heard it before with somebody else. My wife even saw it. She's like, "Is that Blade?" And I was like, "Yeah, it looks like fucking Blade." So when the Blade movie come out, I expect Lance Hendricks as Blade, because he's totally wore the hell out that suit. Uh, but anyway, so he shows up, and I like Lance Reddick because this kind of shows kind of how diverse of an actor he is. One's kind of serious, one's kind of off, one's a little bit goofy, and then you got one that's kind of level-headed, and he's playing 4 of these characters because it's 4 Weskers. It's four, and he's playing all of these characters now. Again, for those who actually know the lore of Resident Evil, Wesker's white, and even in the movies and the games, they're not above cloning or something. So if they were to clone Wesker and put, I don't know, DNA from somebody else into him, and it turns out that there's a black version, I'm fine with that. But unfortunately, it looks like Wesker has been race swapped. So the original Wesker that shows up is the actual Wesker from the canon of the story, of the original story. And they dropped the ball on that one. So next he's threatening the rest of them. Kind of, I think with this iteration of the character, he looks like him, that's it. Even though Lance Hendrick is Mr. LH, he's a good actor. I didn't really feel like he was Wesker, even by acting standards, and maybe because of the way the series has been progressed, and maybe there's a bit of the direction that was given to him. I didn't really feel like he was Wesker. Yeah, he looked like him, but I didn't really feel like him. So, okay. Next, you know, Umbrella shows up, and do y'all remember the scene from Resident Evil 5 where Jill and Chris end up breaking in, killed Spencer? I think Spencer, the guy that owned the Spencer estate. I think that's the guy. It's a bunch of like rich, wealthy people in these games that are responsible for all this shit. But I think Wesker had just killed Spencer, and Chris ended up breaking into the room, and then we got one of the most badass fucking fights in video game history, and it's Wesker. At this point, is infected with the T virus. He's souped up. He's got powers. And that's one thing I can say about Resident Evil 5. You got to see Wesker do some fucking awesome ass in that game. But and there's this point where they're shooting at him. He's dodging with this super speed, and the way he utilizes his super speed and strength as they're fighting is just fucking awesome. So I'm thinking we're gonna see something like that. And I'm like, okay, they're gonna shoot at him. He's gonna do the little super speed thing. Even in the Resident Evil movies with Mila Jovovich, we got to have decent moment with him doing stuff like that. So I was in this one. You see him do a weird thing where he runs at the camera, and it looks like they fast forwarded him running to the camera. He goes over there, beats up the guys, and that's fucking it. So, and then this next scene doesn't really make any sense to me because more guards show up, and I'm like, okay, well he's gonna take them all out. Nope, Wesker took the fuck off. He thought he was a rocket going to the moon the way he took off, and I'm like, damn, that was a missed opportunity. And that's the last time you see this son of a bitch too. So he ends up killing one of the other Weskers for some random ass reason. I guess I mean, I guess to get rid of the evidence and stuff. And one thing I did notice is they tried to like sprinkle in a little bit what was going on from like the games and stuff. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I hadn't played part 5. Once again, I'm referencing 5 because he's a major player and a reoccurring player in that game. When I say player, I mean character. Well, if you play part 5, it was one point where Jill was evil, and it's because she has this mind control device in her chest. And again, if you've seen Resident Evil Retribution, she has the same device in her chest, and that device is referenced. So they tried to do something to connect it to the actual series. But honestly, as much as I like watching Lance do his thing with his performances, this whole sequence was actually fucking bad. They could have done a lot better with that. But okay, fine. So, I broke. Oh, okay. So the two. So we're back into the present. I mean, we're back into the present of the past, where Wesker's dad, Wesker, is captured. Finds out that another clone is in the next room to him. They talk about his life. They talk about escaping. You get a bit of a feel for the other one that he's a little unstable. He's a little off, but maybe that's because he's been locked up for 17 fucking years, which is what they say. They state that he's been locked up for 17 years. He don't even know he's been locked up for 17 years. And you can kind of see he kind of acts like, you know, he hasn't really had the best social life, which again, because he's locked up for 17 years. So we jump into the future, and at this point, Jade, previous episode, at the end of it, Umbrella found the ship because it's end up being revealed that Billy ended up spiking the thing that they used to track Jade. I guess they put it in the head of the little zombie head. They said, I'm not sure if it's the same one, but if not, it doesn't fucking matter. They put a tracker in it, and Jade basically took them to the boat and everything, which doesn't fucking make any sense because she took the tracker out of Jade, put it in the zombie head, knew Jade was going to get the zombie head that will lead them to the boat that they were looking for, the university or whatever it's called. But then I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck you just didn't leave it in Jade? You're still tracking her, regardless. So what was the point of that scene? At least left it in her, she wouldn't have known that she was being tracked. So that part didn't make any sense, but okay, fine. I'm thinking the Umbrella's gonna board the ship because they have the helicopters and stuff. No, they didn't. They parked the helicopters on the beach somewhere. And I'm like, okay, that okay, fine. But it's a big ship, so I'm like, they couldn't do the thing where they hover over the ship and then a bunch of like soldiers like line their way down and everything. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a bunch of other boats or some umbrella boats coming out from nowhere surrounding the ship. Like I was like, yeah, that scene didn't play out too well. It didn't really make any sense. But I understand why. Because later on, I understand why they did it like that. Why instead of them boarding the fucking boat, and instead of them boarding the boat, they got this all set up on this little small town on the beach, right, like fucking 30 feet away, which wasn't there. I don't remember seeing that there before, but okay, fine. So, um, and this next thing, again, there's got to be something. There go that damn train again. God, I'm telling you, I never moved near the tracks. Fucking train just come out of no. There ain't been a train all day. But anyway, I'm gonna keep going. I can't. Never mind. Y'all can still hear the train going by and everything, but the honk. Fuck, or never mind the horn. Oh, never mind, but it blew right past. Okay, fine. So, anyways, this next scene kind of just bust open the damn zombie's head to find a tracker, which he found fairly easy. And then she's like, she still got the blood and stuff on her hands. Now, this ain't the only time Jade has exposed herself to the T virus in this way. She has her mouth open and shit. And I'm like, she's putting her hands all over her fucking face with this zombie blood on it. So I'm like, she just fucking infected herself. And if anybody touch her face or kiss her or something like that, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get infected. But okay, fine. So Jade is crying because Emerita got killed, which is rightfully so. She does deserve it. And I hate the fact that her boyfriend, husband, whatever the fuck this guy is, babysitter, is affirming her. Even though he does eventually come out and say, yeah, it's your fault, you did do this shit. But I'm like, he starts to try to affirm her first. And I was like, come on, stop doing that shit. She did wrong. She did wrong. Allow the character to feel the weight, feel the burden, consequences of her decisions. Allow her to do that. Why won't you give her that? Again, we need something called character development in this series. It ain't hard, but unfortunately, it seems like the writers don't know what the fuck they're doing. So, okay, but I did kind of like that because it's one of the few times that we see this character take some kind of responsibility for her actions. So I'm like, okay, fine, cool. So next, you know, Evelyn is fucking there on the. Okay, we want a meeting. She meets the captain of the ship. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. Captain Ahab, uh, Captain Hook, and you'll see the reason why I do the reference to that later, even though he don't got a hook. So this fucker talks to Evelyn. He's like, you know, she's a part of the crew. Evelyn's like, look, I don't give a damn. Dude, and this is the part that didn't really make any sense because his leverage was not the fact that this motherfucker walked into this encampment with all these fucking troops, with all of this ammunition that can kill him in an instant, and then sit there and blow the fucking ship out of the damn water. This man's leverage is, we got evidence that y'all done did some foul ass shit, and it'll ruin your reputation. And I'm like, it's the fucking end of the world, and it's been at the end of the world for quite some time. I don't think reputation is going to be that, you know, like how much of the reputation could you ruin? Maybe if this was during the past, during the modern time, it would make more sense to have said that. But the world is fucking ruined. So who's going to sit there and say, okay, Umbrellas did this foul shit, let's boycott them? So that was dumb. And I like the fact that she called a bluff on that too. She's like, go ahead and do that shit. We're going to kill everybody. And she said what she said specifically? She's going to treat that ship like it was the fucking Titanic. Set that bitch right to the bottom. So I was like, thank you. That was stupid. So, of course, And then the thing about this scene doesn't really make sense. I'm looking at Evelyn. I'm like, this bitch is not aged. I take it it's been like what is it, 14 years after the original time, them when they're younger. So she hadn't aged at all. In fact, not only has she not aged, she actually looks better. All that cosmetic look that she had earlier with all the makeup, and it looked like she had, you know, work done and all that. Yeah, she looks a lot better now. She actually looks a lot better. And I like Nunez. I think she's a fine ass looking woman. But I'm like, just the makeup that they put on her and this just don't look good. But now she actually looks fucking good. So I'm like, okay, fine. And so we go back to the past. Evelyn's interrogating Wesker, and it's not, it's her trying to convince him that, this is like the best move and everything. And one thing I can say about her character is most of the Resident Evil villains are just fucking forgettable. And they are. They have always been fucking forgettable. When you think Resident Evil villains, I can only think of four that were actually interesting. Wesker. I like Wesker because he's a fucking badass. Not much on the personality, but the dude is just a straight up beast. I like Osmond Sadler from Resident Evil 4. I like the fact that he's got fucking humor. I like the fact that he's charismatic. I like characters that have that. Salazar, I liked him too. The little short motherfucker, the little Napoleon Dynamite looking motherfucker. I liked him too. Very memorable. If you look at the Baker's family from Resident Evil 7, I like them. They were interesting characters. If you want to go with the fucking fine ass, tall ass woman for Resident Evil Village, I ain't played the damn game, but I've watched a lot of footage. Them motherfuckers on point. So, but really, every other villain just ain't shit. They're not memorable. They all. I mean, like Resident Evil 6. Who the fucking main villain? That the politician guy? Really? The 801 clone. Interesting idea, but they didn't do it right. They could have did a little bit better with that one. What was the chick from Resident Evil 5? Excella? Who the fuck is she? You see what I mean? and even like just ain't known for good villains. They're not. Even with the books, even when you read the comics, even when you read the manga, the villains are not fucking good. They have the dumbest fucking motivations. They don't have any interesting qualities outside of just being fucking evil. And like I said, Wesker hits that point because I guess you could say he was the original OG. And he actually got style about him. He actually is manipulating events of a lot of the fucking games. But the rest of these villains just fucking suck. Even movies. In fact, every movie the villain fucking suck. And almost all of them in the animated ones too. Although the chick from Damnation, I actually liked her. I actually liked her character. But the rest of them fucking suck ass. So Nunez, her character Elvin, I actually like her. She got a bit of charisma. She's fine. I don't care about the whole thing with her and her wife at all. I don't care about her relationship she has with her son. But I think as far as villains go, I think she actually has decent motivation. She has a decent plan. I don't like the fact she tried to overshadow her father. And she even is charismatic. She doesn't typically use force with a lot of the situations that's going on in the series. She tries to use manipulation, and I like that. So she's to me one of the better villains. Okay, let's keep it pushing. So the Bert clone is he's been in basically jail and prison for like damn near 2 decades. So he's like, well, the dad Wesker is in trouble. Somebody's got to look out for the kids. So he decides to break out, kills 2 fucking guards off screen. We don't see what the fuck happened. And despite everything, I just didn't like the fact that they didn't show it. It would have been cool to see him do it, which that really doesn't make any sense too. But I'm like, this dude has been locked up for nearly 2 decades. He took out 2 fucking guards. But the scene's so lazy they don't even show it. So I'm like, okay, fine, fine. So anyways, he goes to the school. Billy and Jade are there talking about, what's going on with the father, which doesn't fucking make sense because all of this shit, the shit had pretty much hit the fan. Wesker is locked up. And I believe Evelyn fucking knows the situation with Jade and Billy. That we were under the assumption that she doesn't know, which is revealed later on. She doesn't know about them. So I'm like, why are they in school? Why hadn't Umbrella picked them up? The moment that they picked up Wesker, they should have picked them up. So of course, Bert, Simon shows up. Who gives a fuck about? Shows up. They think it's, they think it's him. Oh, well, never mind. I completely skipped everything, but it's Billy and Jade are in school talking about what's going on with the dad. Then we have another conversation between Evelyn and Wesker, and it's kind of morality kind of thing, which I thought it was decent. But again, it kind of shows that, and again, because they set the scene up for the 4 different Weskers, and we know that he's a clone of Wesker, we're thinking he's going to be just like Wesker. But when they cloned during that sequence, they tried to clean it up by showing that each one has different personalities. So, okay, the whole morality thing the whole morality thing that he puts out makes a little bit more sense now that scene has come out. But that doesn't necessarily mean it fixes anything. So we go back to the future. Jade is talking with B. That's it. Go straight back to the past. Now the conversation between Jade and B is supposed to be a moving one. It's hard to take that. It's hard to accept that because of all of what Jade has done, both past and present. But I understand the moment that they were going for. So fine. I'm not advocating for Jade because she's still dumb, and she's gonna do dumb shit this episode and next episode too. So I'm not really advocating for her, but I understand the emotional depth that scene was supposed to have. Would have worked out with better writers and a better show. So this is the moment where Bert ends up escaping the facility. Lord knows how the fuck he knew how to do that, because he's been locked up for nearly 2 decades. He goes and picks up the girls from school. How the fuck he knew it was at school? Don't know. How did he know what they look like? Don't know. But okay, fine. And there's another scene where it kind of pissed me off because Roth, head of security guy, is with Wesker. Wesker's like, well, how can you stand to take orders from Evelyn? And Roth says, I'm a masochist. Roth seems to be one of the few competent people in the show. That fucked me up. I'm like, no. And how you gonna be a masochist for somebody ain't even interested in you? I don't know. So Wesker ends up having one of his fits. Evelyn's in his face, again, being charismatic, trying to get to him, trying to manipulate him through his health, because what happens, since he's a clone, because of the process, his body breaks down, which is why he injects himself with the blood of Jade and Billy, because they help regenerate him. So they actually have a moment where we're at the restaurant. Jade and Billy are like, what the fuck is going on with Dad? He's acting weird. There's this scene about fucking breadsticks. I didn't like the fact that Jade was like, disrespectful. I mean, I understand you could be a little bit more inquisitive about what's going on, but again, she's been disrespectful this entire series. So that did not jump out of character for her. And I was like, I don't like this broad. So there's a bit more Evelyn family drama. She goes home. The wife looks a lot better now. When she originally jumped onto the scene, I was like, that is an ugly woman. But she looks a lot better now. Simon is talking to the mom about how he has friends that are in trouble, but they don't talk to him and include him in things. And I was like, Jade is not your fucking friend. Billy straight up don't like you. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't got shit going on, and you can tell that the writers don't know how to write fucking teens, because this boy ain't got shit going on. He literally just sits there and waits. His whole thing is to sit there and do shit. Then when Jade needs him, show the fuck up. That's his whole thing. Trash character. Don't care about him. So Evelyn comes home, and we see that she drugs her wife with joy, which is why after the initial episode of her being being belligerent, disrespecting her in front of the employees, embarrassing her in front of the employees and everything, we just see her okay after that. She has been drugged with the joy. And apparently the shit works, because she's not a bitch anymore. But, so to go back to the restaurant, I'm sitting here looking at, they do the little thing where they had the little text boxes of them texting and how they talk and everything. And honestly, I understand slang terminology. I understand, you cutting words short and everything because you want to save on time. But these kids, if this is indication of intelligence and the intelligence and discipline of the kids these days, I have lost all hope for the future. The way that they text each other is just fucking ridiculous. I'm like, they put the C in the N, but I'm like, you can put the CAN. It's not gonna fucking hurt you to put CAN. If you say text, TXT, okay, fine, I get it. But the way that and then when they put U, of course, it's the U, it's not the YOU. And yes, I have met people that actually write, when they write shit, just like they write like a note or something, that's how they write. If they do like an essay or something, that's how they write. They just like that. They literally talk what they write. I mean, they write how they talk, and it's just like fucking ridiculous, stupid. It's like you can say, "Hey, come get me," and spell it all out. Can't be that fucking lazy. But I'm like, okay, well, there's a new generation, and the new generation are actually fucking idiots. Most of them. You got some that actually got a good head in their shoulders, but most of them are fucking idiots. Now this is after this. This is the breadstick part, and this is when he actually they're like, okay, you're not our father. He's like, I'm not your dad. I'm a clone. He tells them the whole thing about Albert Wesker. Wesker died. They're all clones. Basically, the backstory of it. They are, of course, Billy and Jay just looking stupid like that. Especially Billy. Billy just, I do not like this girl's character. She just looks dumb most of the time. She looks like she is lost in the sauce. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this girl? She's like she's high. But I'm like, okay. So of course, Jade is an asshole again. Instead of her thinking, she's like, well, you just stay away from us. Not, could you help us get her father back? Is utilized to, stay ahead of the game? Are there any other clones? What's going on? Anything that's actually progressive and makes fucking sense, she doesn't say that. She says, stay the fuck away from us. Okay? Genius. So, Umbrella shows up. One of the laziest scenes, of course. They try to escape. Bert whoops ass. It's a fight, of course. One of the fucking guards literally pulls the gun after he runs up to Bert, instead of pulling the gun, I don't know, fucking 10 feet away and telling him to sit his ass down. So it's made to show that Bert's like badass or whatever, but it's not. It's fucking lazy and incompetence. Why? Because at one point Roth ends up getting to him. Roth takes him out, puts that cuff on him, cuffs him to the car. That's it. And then the music's so fucking dumb. It's got this weird like street emo music, just dumb, that doesn't make any sense. It seemed like that music would be played during a scene where it's like a montage of kids skateboarding or something. But it's here in a fight where people are getting fucking brutally murdered. I'm like, okay, that's dumb. But yeah, Rob subdues Bert, Albert, which I didn't say it, but when you watch the beginning of the episode and they have all four different Weskers, they refer to each other in different parts of his name. So one's Al, one's Bert, one's Albert. I forgot what the other one was, but yeah, you're like, okay, that's very, very creative. So in the Back into the Future, the captain comes to Jay. Jay, it's time for you to go. I was like, okay. And then early conversation that Miss Supermom here has with her daughter B is when the shit hits the fan, there's a bag with supplies that will help you. You and your father take it, get off the boat and bounce. If your pops doesn't want to go with you, you take the bag yourself and you bounce. So we get the scene of B getting the bag that the mom propped, which looked like it was under the bed. And I was like, when did she prep that? Was it prepped when she got back, or did she always have that bag? And if she always had that bag, you telling me nobody found that bag before now? Because it looked like it was under the bed. So obviously, Mr. Mom isn't checking under the bed. Or if he knew about it, maybe there should have been a conversation about that shit. Preferably when she got back. So that, again, that's one of the little plot holes right there that had been answered. But okay, fine. So Jay, and then the girl takes the bag, and has a big ass gun in it, and walks out. And I'm thinking to myself, so we're not even. She didn't listen to what mom said about going to your dad first, and then getting the conversation. If he don't want to go, then do it. No, the daughter literally goes there, gets the fucking bag, and bounces. I'm like, damn. So she just didn't. She just don't want nobody to tell her. But then again, this child is not intelligent. We saw last episode. So Jade ends up telling him, says, hey, when I'm going to go distract them, I'm going to turn myself in. Y'all get the fuck out of here. And hit the button. Now this button has been mentioned once or twice earlier this episode. You're like, okay, what the fuck is it? And it does have something to do with what they're dragging in the water. It does. In fact, is it this episode? Yeah, because they're dragging something. And I was always curious as I'm like, what the fuck are they dragging in the water behind them? But I'm not going to tell you what that is. You probably already know though. So, and this is another scene that didn't really make any sense in that another line. She says, "Y'all escape." I'm thinking to myself, how they gonna fucking escape? Umbrella has helicopters. That's how they got caught. So it's a ship. What the fuck the ship gonna do? Jump to the next dimension? Is it Davy Jones' ship where you can go under fucking water? Is it something that you see in James Bond 007 where a motherfucker presses a button and then the submarine comes out the bottom of the ship? What is this woman talking about? So anyway, back to the past. Jade's just being an asshole while they're talking to Evelyn. She's just a fucking unlikable character, just all the way around. And again, it goes back to if you apprehended Wesker, because one of the problems I see with Evelyn trying to manipulate Wesker is she knows about the daughters. Isn't she using them as a bargaining chip? Do what we want, or we'll take your daughters from you. That'll make him do whatever she wants. So, okay, that makes total sense. And again, and even in this, it makes me mad because when she finally meets him, of course she knows about him, they don't know about her. And I did have the theory that I threw out a theory earlier in one of the episodes when she was first introduced that she was potentially their mom, which would have made a better family drama. If they're gonna bring the crap in it, that probably would have been a more interesting route to go. But okay, fine, they didn't do that. I'm not mad at them though. So she tries to affirm them as females. Hey, everybody doesn't realize that we're stronger and smarter than what we are and everything. I'm like, wow. So you're doing all of that, but you're trying to reaffirm these girls. Okay. Again, manipulation. I really like her character sometimes. So she takes him to go see Wesker. Wesker's breaking down. And then this is where we get the big reveal of Wesker's, where they learn again that Wesker's a clone because of the cloning process, aging, and he's breaking down, and he needs the injections to keep himself alive. Billy is upset. They do become upset, and I can kind of understand why they were upset. But she does take it a step further. She's like, "Oh, you lied to us our entire lives." No, he did not, dummy. He lied to you about specific things. And she's like, "We hope you die." And I just don't like her character because she's just so fucking emotionally just unstable from day one. I was like, look, I get sometimes, like, I like watching stuff and people have believable reactions. And I guess I can believe she would have that reaction because she's fucking mental. But just the way she just kind of, just, ugh. Just, and then how she carries on about it throughout this episode and the next episode, just, ugh. But anyway, so, um, he ends up taking a medication. You know, they end up taking some of Jay's blood. He ends up taking it because it just stabilizes him. And again, they don't like their dad because he lied about a couple things, but gave them a really fucking good life and sacrificed time and energy and fucking money for their well-being. But okay, fine. So back in the future, Jay goes to see Evelyn, and we finally get fucking security everywhere. It's like all of the fucking security stepped through Stargate because we don't see none of these sons of bitches in the past. Or because I guess we don't got, you know, a building or whatever. Like they take, I guess the end of the world, they taking applications like a motherfucker. So, but okay. So she's going to this camp. She goes to go see Evelyn. It's dark, and these motherfuckers are literally just copying off the fucking movies. Because there's one scene in the movie, Retribution, where all of the soldiers and even Jill, I think at one point, were just kind of sitting there and they were like shut down. They're like robots, they like shut down and they all got like activated. So Evelyn is literally sitting in the dark and she's shut down. Then she just starts dancing and singing and shit. So I'm like, she's being controlled by Billy. And what happens? Billy comes in with a tablet controlling Evelyn. And I gotta say, the chick that played Jade is fine. That is a fine woman. I don't like the characters that she's played, including Jade, but that is a fine woman. But the other chick, she's fine too. And I love black leather, and she looked mighty fine in that leather too. But so that was that's the reveal. Billy is controlling Evelyn, so Billy's controlling Umbrella. Um, and I'm like, okay, answer the question. Evelyn had decent motivation. She masked it up as one thing, but she has decent motivation. Representative of a lot of wealthy people, of the elitists that govern us. But what is Billy's response to this? Nothing really. Not nothing compelling. Not nothing interesting or anything. So I'm like, damn. And then of course there's a lot of back and forth drama, uh, shit not really interesting. But I will say this: um, I do like the performances. Like I said, as much as I rag on the character of Jade, the woman that plays the character is actually doing a decent job. She's doing a good job. She definitely can jump into the emotional well and just and do her thing. She does a pretty good job. I will give her that. But Billy has no fucking motivation, none whatsoever to do what she's doing. She's just doing this shit just because she can fucking do it. Like it's just a Tuesday. But okay, fine. No, it's not fine. Let me stop saying it. That's fucking bullshit. Give me a villain that's got some good motivation. Gosh. Anyway, so Jade is like, okay, fuck it. You gonna do your thing? I'm gonna do my thing. So she takes a vow that she had because uh, it's just not gonna go anywhere with Billy at this point. So Billy's like, well, fuck it, we're gonna take out the ship then. Before she can do it, Jay pulls out a vial that we seen her get earlier before she walked off the ship, breaks it on the ground. So I'm thinking pheromones. Okay, so she's releasing pheromones here, and zombies come out the woodwork. And I was like, there's no fucking way, like zombies that were never fucking there, just covered miles and miles and miles. And a fucking army of zombies come from every fucking where. Out of no. And then the thing about it, the pheromones, I get that they broke it. And if it was in an immediate area and the zombies reacted to it, it would make more sense. But she broke this vial of pheromone shit in the middle of fucking nowhere where no zombies were. And then an army of zombies comes out of no fucking where. No, I said an army, I mean literally an army of fucking zombies just. I'm like, it's a fucking desert or whatever it is. It's desolate there. Just basically a fucking desert. You telling me none of the helicopters saw zombies coming? They had scouts out there with eyes up looking for zombies, and they saw the zombies coming from like miles away. No, they literally just fucking just show up out of nowhere, and they're just spilling out of nowhere. I'm like, where the fuck all these zombies come from? And I'm like, the virus, whatever the vial, wrong. It was just a small ass vial, and these zombies just smelled the shit. Wasn't even. I would say a quarter of a mile, maybe even 2 miles. I say, to be generous, we'll say a quarter of a mile around. We don't see no fucking zombies. So how are the zombies going to have the scent? Going to pick up on the scent right here, and it's next to the damn water. Y'all know how the ocean smells. It smells like where I stayed. It's like salty. Just has a salty scent to it, but the ocean does have a scent to it. And I'm like, damn. So zombies just come out the fucking woodwork, and the umbrella soldiers are fucking incompetent. They utilize no strategy. They don't utilize any kind of tactics. They all have generic fucking weapons. No, their weapons are all the same. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then on top of that, I even noticed as all this shit was going down, I was like, where all the fuck are these umbrella people come from? It was only like 3 or 4 helicopters, and it was like 30 or 40. It looked like 30 or 40 soldiers. I was like, oh, it just. But maybe the helicopters hold that many, but for some reason, it seemed like it was too many soldiers. But yeah, all the soldiers just getting fucking just brutalized. Which I'm still thinking, I'm like, you're wearing body armor. How the fuck are these zombies killing y'all? And then there was one woman that kept showing, one woman soldier. And I was interested to see if she was going to be like a standout character because they kept showing her. They showed her like 4 or 5 times. And she actually had some lines here and there. But she fucking disappears. So I was like, well, damn, okay. So the ship takes off, and it shows that it's towing a large fucking alligator. Resident Evil 2 this shit. They did. Um, and then zombies will start closing in. And this is kind of an extended scene where the zombies are just kind of making their way through the guards, making their way. And I'm thinking to myself, Billy and the rest of these guards should be fucking leaving. They should be running out of there. I mean, the helicopters are. I'm like, one, I was like, why the fuck they're not leaving? Like, where the fuck are the helicopters? Apparently, as the scene pulls out, the helicopters are kind of like a couple hundred feet away on this hill, so they can't just up leave unless they just go there. And so I'm like, again, these are umbrella soldiers. They don't have different weapons. There are no people with flamethrowers. There are no people with shotguns. There's no people with like some big automatic, like bigger, like 50 cal shit like that. There's nobody throwing bombs. There's nobody with a rocket launcher. There's no snipers. There's literally people with generic automatic rifles. Everybody got the same fucking rifle. Nobody's different. There's no troops that have riot gear just in case this shit happens. There are no heavily armored troops just in case this shit happens. And then another thing that kind of got me is because they're getting their ass kicked. And I'm like, okay, the helicopters. So won't the helicopters don't fly up in the fucking air and start laying waste. There are drones, and the drones have been shown to be able to shoot people, as we saw several couple episodes back when they were sitting here shooting the fuck out of those refugee people. 3 or 4 helicopters and 3 drones. You're telling me you could not go on the offensive against a fucking horde of zombies? But as the scene closes in, we have this back and forth between the past and the present slash future of shit going down, and the younger Jay and the older Jay grabbing the alternate versions of Billy's hands. And the scene ends. And what the fuck is going on with the writing in this show? Please tell me. I don't understand. Because this actually could have been. Okay. I definitely want to come back and do like I said, I think this show would have done better as an anthology series. And one of the anthology episodes could have been a horde of zombies attacking an encampment like this. It might not be Umbrella, but could just be them coming attacking an encampment. There's a lot that this episode did that could have been good. The conversation between Jade and Big B, I think, would have been a lot better had Jade been a much more likable character. I did like the whole reveal of what about the cloning. I thought that was actually because they did it. Excuse me. They did it in 3 bits. They did it at the beginning of the episode. They did it with Bert telling the sisters, and then we had the conclusion of it with Evelyn telling the sisters. So I didn't mind that. Did I like seeing Blade show up in Resident Evil? No, I didn't. I thought I was going to see Wesker, but we didn't. Um, or Shaft. So I'm not sure what they should have did with that. They could have did something a little bit better with that. I still don't like Bill. I don't like Jay because she's a bitch. I don't like Billy because she's pathetic, and she's overly pathetic. She's always she always running. She always having some emotional breakdown. Almost every fucking episode, almost every fucking scene she in, and she does it in this one in spades. The much more the characters should have been like one of the things that kind of interests me too is you got the boat, the ship that these people on it that Jade is familiar with. They don't flesh them out, even when Captain Ahab and to go back to what I was saying about Captain Hook, I called him Captain Hook because the big ass fucking alligator that got attached to the damn ship, or you call him Captain Ahab. Captain Ahab isn't talking to, like you would think that would be a moment where it's like 6 or 7, or maybe even just a group of the people on the ship being like, okay, should we turn her over? Should we trust Umbrella? Like that would have been made. That would have made a good, interesting point of how these people view Umbrella. You know, all these and fleshing out some of the characters as well. Get that? So we don't know who the fuck these people are. And the whole thing with Jade activating the zombie attraction serum doesn't make fucking sense because if they were in an enclosed area like a building or something and they're surrounded by zombies and should have did that and the zombies attacked, that would have made more sense. But out in the fucking open, no fucking wind blowing. So how is the zombies just gonna pick it up on it? And why were there so many like there was not one scene that they showed of zombies being in that area. So where did the zombies come from? How did they get there so fucking fast? How did they smell that shit so fucking fast? Just it doesn't really make any sense. And again, the older version of Billy is fucking sexy as hell in this scene. Like in this scene that we got where that motherfucker is sexy. Like I would take her to the movies. And then afterwards, some shaboinking going on. But I feel that same way about the girl that played Jade too, because she is on point as well. But like I said, this could have been a lot better. But I have to give this, and I'm gonna give it a 2. Like I said, I like the reveal. I like kind of some of the setup, but it's the same bullshit that the series just suffers from. It doesn't get any better, and I'm telling you now, I shaking my head about what the fuck happens in the next episode. Again, like I said, I already seen it, broke down the notes. I just don't have the time to record it. So fuck it. Anyways, guys, in the comment section below, let me know, what did you think about Resident Evil Episode 7? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What were your standout moments? Who looks better? Does the chick that played Jade, the older Jade, look better, or the chick that played um, Billy, the older Billy, looks better? Be sure to hit that like